Grand Admiral Vexthor stood at the command center of the Zarkanian flagship Eternal Glory, his iridescent scales reflecting the soft purple light of the bridge. The massive warship, over 15 kilometers in length, represented the pinnacle of galactic engineering. Its quantum-folded hull could withstand direct hits from antimatter weapons, while its gravity lance could shatter planets. "Another primitive sector," he muttered, watching the holographic display of yet another expansion zone. The Zarkanian Empire had spent the last century pushing outward from the galactic core, claiming system after system. Few races could resist their technological superiority. "Admiral," called out Science Officer Zura, her tentacles dancing across the sensor arrays. "We're detecting artificial structures near the Crimson Nebula." Vexthor's head frills flared with mild interest. "Classification: appears to be a fleet of vessels, sir. But," she paused, rechecking her readings, "they're using metallic hulls. Primitive nuclear fusion drives. No quantum shielding detected." The bridge crew exchanged amused glances. In an age of dark matter reactors and consciousness-transferred AIs, finding ships built from metal was like discovering stone spears in a plasma rifle factory. "Origin?" Vexthor asked, more out of protocol than curiosity. "Based on residual radiation signatures and material analysis, they appear to be of human origin, sir." The Admiral's amusement turned to outright laughter. Humans were a newly discovered species, barely able to reach their own system's outer planets. Their most advanced ships used chemical rockets and took years to reach nearby stars. "How many vessels?" 732, arranged in a defensive formation. Most appear to be capital ship class, despite their primitive construction. Vexthor studied the holographic representation. The human ships were ugly things, blocky, utilitarian vessels covered in what appeared to be conventional projectile weapon emplacements. Their hull markings were written in the human language English, with names like Tiora Triumphant and Humanity's Child. "This makes no sense," Zyra continued. "These ships show signs of being centuries old, but humans only achieved spaceflight within the last 100 years. Clearly, they are replicas," Vexthor dismissed. "Perhaps some human attempt at creating a museum piece, abandoned when they realized the futility of such primitive designs." He ordered a salvage team to begin dismantling the vessels for raw materials. The Zarkanian Empire's expansion wouldn't be delayed by a collection of space junk, no matter how curious its origin. The first salvage shuttle approached the nearest human vessel, its quantum cutters prepared to slice through the metallic hull. As the beam touched the surface, something unexpected happened. The primitive metal absorbed the quantum energy completely. "Sir," Zyra's voice carried an edge of alarm, "we're detecting power signatures from within the fleet. They're rising exponentially." Vexthor's amusement faded as he watched the supposedly dead ships begin to pulse with soft blue light. Symbols along their hulls, previously dismissed as decorative, began to glow with an inner fire. "Impossible," he whispered, watching as panels along the vessel's sides began to slide open, revealing weapon ports unlike anything in known space. "These ships are centuries beyond human capability." A transmission cut through their communications, broadcasting on all frequencies in perfect Zarkanian. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Fleet. Those vessels are under our protection. You have 30 seconds to withdraw." The bridge crew stared in shock at the human woman who appeared on their screens. She wore a simple blue uniform with minimal decorations, but her eyes held the weight of centuries. "But humans are primitive," Vexthor protested. "Your species barely has fusion power." Admiral Chen's smile was both warm and terrible. "That's what we wanted you to think. You see, Grand Admiral, humanity learned long ago that the greatest advantage in warfare isn't technology. It's being underestimated." As if to emphasize her point, every ship in the ancient fleet came alive simultaneously, their primitive hulls transforming as layers of advanced technology revealed themselves. What had appeared to be simple metal began flowing like liquid mercury, reforming into configurations that defied physics. Vexthor realized, with growing horror, that his mighty empire had just made a terrible mistake. They hadn't found a collection of abandoned relics. They'd awakened humanity's sleeping giants. Alarms blared across the eternal glory as Vexthor watched the impossible unfold before him. The primitive human fleet was transforming, their seemingly basic metal hulls flowing like liquid, revealing layers of technology that shouldn't exist. Multiple energy signatures detected. Zyra's tentacles were a blur across her console. The human vessels are generating quantum fields orders of magnitude more powerful than our own. Impossible, Vexthor whispered, his scales paling. Their strongest chips can barely achieve light speed. On the main screen, Admiral Chen's expression remained calm. For centuries, humanity has hidden its true capabilities. While other races flaunted their technological advancement, we worked in secret, perfecting technologies that even your empire hasn't dreamed of. The first demonstration of her words came when a Zarkanian scout ship attempted to retreat. A human vessel, half the size of the Scout, fired what appeared to be a conventional railgun. The projectile, however, did something unprecedented. It created a localized time dilation field, causing the scout ship to experience a full minute while only microseconds passed for everyone else. When time normalized, the Scout had aged centuries, its hull crumbling to dust. By the eternal void, someone whispered on the bridge. What kind of weapons are these? More of the human fleet's true nature revealed itself. What had appeared to be simple armor plating separated into billions of microscopic machines, forming intricate patterns that bent light and space around them. Traditional engine ports morphed into arrays that manipulated the fabric of reality itself. You see, Grand Admiral, Chen continued, we discovered something fascinating about technological evolution. Most races follow a predictable path: quantum mechanics, dark matter manipulation, consciousness transfer. But humanity, we went sideways. We explored paths others dismissed as impossible. To demonstrate, one of the human ships, the TRRA-UMP, activated what looked like a simple communications array. Instead, it fired a beam of pure information, temporarily overriding the laws of physics in a localized area. Zarkanian sensors within the affected zone simply ceased to exist, their very concept erased from reality. Vexthor's military training finally overcame this shock. All ships, battle formations, show these humans the true might of the Zarkanian Empire. His fleet's response was impressive. Hundreds of warships moved with perfect coordination, their quantum-folded hulls gleaming as they prepared to fire their gravity lances. Each weapon had the power to shatter a moon. Admiral Chen actually smiled. And that, Grand Admiral, is why we maintained our deception. Because when everyone thinks you're primitive, they show you exactly how they fight. The human ships moved with impossible grace, their formations seeming to ignore traditional physics. Where Zarkanian tactics rely on overwhelming force, the human vessels flowed like water, each movement precise and purposeful. The metal, Zyra suddenly announced, her voice filled with dawning horror. Sir, I've analyzed their whole composition. It's not just advanced technology, it's alive. Indeed, the surfaces of the human ships rippled like muscles beneath skin. Their weapons weren't mounted on the hull, they were grown from it. Each vessel was a singular organism, a perfect fusion of biology and technology that adapted and evolved in real time. A massive Zarkanian dreadnought fired its primary weapon, a beam of concentrated dark energy that could pierce a planet's core. The nearest human ship didn't attempt to dodge. Instead, its hull absorbed the energy, processed it through its living metal superstructure, and redirected it as something entirely new, a cascade of quantum possibilities that caused the dreadnought to experience every possible outcome of the battle simultaneously. The mighty warship shut down, its crew catatonic from experiencing 1,000 lifetimes in an instant. This is your final warning, Chen announced. Withdraw your forces, or we will be forced to demonstrate why humanity chose to hide its power for so long. Vexthor's pride battled with his survival instinct. The human ships had neutralized half his fleet without destroying a single vessel. Their technology wasn't just advanced, it operated on principles his scientists couldn't even begin to comprehend. "You could have revealed yourselves at any time," he said finally. "Shown your true power to the galaxy. Why maintain this deception?" Chen's expression softened slightly. "Because, Grand Admiral, true power isn't about domination. It's about wisdom. And sometimes the wisest choice is to let others underestimate you until they prove their intentions." As if to punctuate her point, the human fleet's formation shifted again, their living metal hulls synchronizing into a pattern that made Vexthor's sensors scream in protest. Whatever they were preparing to do, he realized he didn't want to witness it firsthand. "All ships," he commanded, his voice heavy with defeat, "withdraw immediately. Send word to the Empire. The expansion into this sector is cancelled." As his fleet retreated, Vexthor couldn't help but wonder. If this was what humanity had hidden from the galaxy, what other secrets were they keeping? 2 weeks after the confrontation with the Zarkanian fleet, a different kind of vessel approached the human fleet. The scientific enlightenment, pride of the Galactic Archaeological Institute, carried the most renowned xenotechnologists in known space. Dr. Ktell, a crystalline being from the Rigel system, led the research team. Unlike the Zarkanians, they came with permission and supervision. The TERA triumphant loomed nearby, its living metal hull subtly shifting in patterns that defied analysis. "Fascinating," Ktell chimed, their crystalline form vibrating with excitement as they studied the sensor readings. "The molecular structure appears to be simultaneously organic and artificial, yet neither description fully applies." Admiral Chen's hologram appeared in their research bay. "We call it bioforge alloy. It's what happens when you let synthetic materials evolve naturally over centuries." The research team had been granted limited access to one of the smaller human vessels, the Ingenuity. Even this small ship demonstrated technology that challenged their understanding of physics. "These patterns," assistant researcher Manxlora pointed out, her six eyes widening. "They're not just decorative, are they? They're some kind of computational matrix." Chen nodded. "The hull itself is one massive quantum computer. Every atom can process information, adapt its structure, and communicate with the whole. The ships don't just carry crews. They work with them, learn from them, evolve with them." Kell's crystalline form sparkled with questions. "But how? Our historical records show human ships using chemical rockets barely a century ago. The technological leap is impossible," Chen finished. "That's because you're thinking linearly. Humanity didn't climb the traditional technological ladder. We built our own." As if demonstrating her point, the Unity's hull rippled, revealing layers upon layers of technology. What appeared to be simple armor plating was actually countless specialized systems working in perfect harmony. "Look here," Manxlora called out, her sensors focused on what appeared to be a conventional engine port. "The thrust system isn't just manipulating space-time. It's creating localized pockets of alternate physics." Chen's hologram smiled. "We discovered early on that the laws of physics aren't as rigid as most species believe. They're more like guidelines that can be persuaded to look the other way." The research team watched in amazement as the Unity demonstrated this principle. A section of hull shifted, creating what appeared to be a simple window. Instead of traditional transparency, it showed them the true nature of space-time, a swirling canvas of possibilities that the ship could navigate at will. "Each ship," Chen explained, "is capable of generating its own localized universe, with slightly modified physical constants. When we need to move faster than light, we don't break the universal speed limit. We simply adjust the size of the universe locally." Tell's crystalline form vibrated with intellectual excitement. The implications, the applications, this technology could revolutionize everything. That's exactly why we kept it hidden. Chen's voice turned serious. Humanity learned long ago that some discoveries need to mature alongside wisdom. We watched other races rush to implement every new technology they discovered, regardless of consequences. The research team's excitement dimmed as they understood the implications. How many civilizations had destroyed themselves by advancing too quickly? How many wars had been fought over technological superiority? The Bioforge alloy, Explorer realized, studying the living metal with new understanding. It's not just advanced technology. It's technology that had time to grow up. Chen nodded. Every ship in this fleet started as a simple vessel with basic synthetic materials. Over centuries, we let them evolve naturally, developing capabilities in response to real needs rather than military demands. They're not weapons platforms. They're partners. As if acknowledging this, the Unity's hull pulsed with soft light, patterns flowing like thoughts across its surface. The ship wasn't just responding to commands. It was participating in the conversation. But surely, Cattell chimed hesitantly, now that the secret is out, you'll share this technology with the galaxy. Admiral Chen's hologram gave them a knowing look. What makes you think this is all we're hiding? The fleet you see here. These are just the capabilities we're ready to reveal. Humanity has had a long time to prepare for this moment, and we've learned that true power isn't about having the most advanced technology. She paused, letting her words sink in. It's about knowing when not to use it. The research team shared uneasy looks as they realized the truth. They weren't just studying advanced technology. They were witnessing the emergence of a species that had mastered the art of patience itself. And somewhere in the depths of human space, even more remarkable discoveries waited, hidden until humanity decided the galaxy was ready to handle them responsibly. The news spread across the galaxy like a quantum shockwave. Humanity, the supposedly primitive species that barely had fusion power, had been concealing technological capabilities that defied comprehension. The Galactic Council called an emergency session, the first in 3 centuries. The council chamber, a massive sphere of crystalline energy floating in neutral space, hummed with tension as representatives from 1,000 species gathered. At the center, a simple wooden podium appeared, deliberately archaic, a subtle reminder of humanity's supposed technological level. Ambassador Marcus Zhang stepped up to the podium, wearing what appeared to be a simple cloth suit. The various species bioscanners went crazy trying to analyze it, detecting everything from quantum entanglement to localized time manipulation in its fibers. Distinguished representatives, Zhang began, his voice calm and measured. I understand you have questions. The chamber erupted in overlapping voices, translated simultaneously by the council's systems. How long has humanity possessed this technology? Why maintain the deception? What else are you hiding? Zhang raised his hand, and the chamber fell silent, not from any technology, but from the simple authority in his gesture. Let me tell you a story, he said. 3,000 years ago, humanity faced a choice. We had discovered the principles behind bioforge technology, the ability to create materials that could evolve, adapt, and grow. We could have used it to dominate, to conquer, to impose our will on any civilization we encountered. He paused, letting his words sink in. Instead, we chose to wait, to watch, to learn. The Zarkanian representative, still smarting from their fleet's encounter, rose. You deceived the entire galaxy, pretended to be primitive while possessing technology that could have prevented countless wars. Did we? Zhang asked quietly. Or did we give you the opportunity to reveal your true nature? When you thought us primitive, how did you treat us? What did your actions say about your civilization's wisdom? The chamber grew uncomfortably quiet as species after species recalled their first contact with humanity. How many had dismissed them? How many had planned to exploit or conquer this seemingly primitive Earth? Look at your own histories, Zhang continued. How many civilizations developed faster than light travel before they learned to manage their own aggression? how many gained quantum weapons before they understood the responsibility of wielding them? He gestured, and the air around him shimmered. The chamber's sensors detected thousands of human ships appearing in nearby space, ships that had always been there, hidden behind veils of transformed reality. Humanity chose a different path. We developed our technology slowly, naturally, letting it evolve alongside our wisdom. The bioforge alloy in our ships. It's not just a material, it's a philosophy made manifest. Each ship spends centuries growing, learning, developing in response to real needs rather than military demands. The Arcturian representative, an energy being of pure thought, pulsed with curiosity. But surely now, with your deception revealed, you will join the galactic community fully. Share your advancements. Zhang smiled. We're already sharing them. Every time we traded with you using primitive ships, every diplomatic mission conducted with basic technology, we were teaching by example, showing that true advancement isn't measured by the power of your weapons or the speed of your ships. He touched the podium, and it transformed, revealing itself to be made of the same living metal as their ships. It flowed and shifted, creating a display that showed Earth's history, not of technological advancement, but of cultural and philosophical growth. We hid our capabilities not out of fear or mistrust, but out of hope. Hope that when the galaxy finally discovered our true nature, they would be ready to ask not what our technology could do, but what it could teach. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just been hiding advanced technology. They had been conducting a grand experiment in galactic sociology, testing how different species would treat those they considered technologically inferior. So, Zhang concluded, the question isn't what else we're hiding. The question is, are you ready to learn why we chose to hide it? The council chamber hummed with a new kind of tension, not of fear or anger, but of dawning understanding. Humanity had given the galaxy a mirror in which to see itself, and not everyone liked the reflection. The months following Ambassador Zhang's address to the Galactic Council brought changes that rippled across known space. Species that had once competed for technological superiority found themselves reevaluating their priorities. The revelation of humanity's true nature had shattered more than just their assumptions. It had broken paradigms that had governed galactic society for millennia. At a remote research station orbiting a dying star, Dr. Cattell and their team made a breakthrough. It's not just about the technology, they announced to a gathered assembly of scientists from across the galaxy. Look at how the human ships grow. They don't just evolve their capabilities, they evolve their understanding. A holographic display showed a time-lapse of a human vessel's development. Over centuries, its structure hadn't simply become more advanced, it had become more harmonious, more integrated with both its crew and the space around it. They didn't build better weapons, Laura added, her 6 eyes gleaming with excitement. They built better relationships with the universe itself. In the Zarkanian Empire, changes were even more dramatic. Grand Admiral Vexthor, who had witnessed humanity's power firsthand, initiated a complete restructuring of their fleet. We've been measuring strength by our ability to destroy, he told the Imperial Council. The humans measure it by their ability to grow. But it was on Earth itself that the most significant revelations occurred. As diplomatic delegations from across the galaxy arrived, humanity began sharing not their most advanced technology, but their most basic principles. Admiral Chen led a demonstration at the Luna Naval Academy. This, she said, holding up what appeared to be a simple metal cube, is where every bioforged ship begins, not with quantum mechanics or dark matter manipulation, but with teaching metal to learn. The assembled diplomats watched in awe as the cube slowly began to respond to its environment, not through programming or external control, but through genuine interaction. It wasn't just adapting, it was experiencing. The greatest advancement humanity ever made, Ambassador Zhang explained at another gathering, was realizing that technology shouldn't be created, it should be nurtured. Every ship in our fleet began as something simple, like this cube. We gave them time to grow, to develop, to understand their place in the universe. This philosophy challenged everything the galactic community thought they knew about progress. Species that had rushed to develop ever more powerful technologies began to experiment with letting their creations evolve naturally. The results were revolutionary. The Arcturians discovered that their energy-based technology could develop consciousness if given time to grow organically. The crystalline beings of Rigel found their living cities became more harmonious when allowed to develop at their own pace. Even the Zarkanians, once focused solely on military might, began exploring how their quantum-folded hulls could evolve into something more than weapons. But humanity's greatest revelation was yet to come. 1 year after their true nature was revealed, Earth hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from every known species assembled at a simple facility in the Himalayan mountains. There, surrounded by ancient stone and modern marvels, Ambassador Zhang shared humanity's final secret. What you've seen, our bioforged ships, our evolved technology, our hidden capabilities, these aren't the end of our journey, he said. They're the beginning. We've spent 3,000 years preparing for this moment, waiting until the galaxy was ready to understand that technological advancement without wisdom isn't progress at all. He gestured, and the mountain itself seemed to shift, revealing layers of reality that even the most advanced sensors couldn't comprehend. We're not here to leave the galaxy or share our technology. We're here to invite you on the same journey we began millennia ago. A journey that doesn't end with mastering the universe. The assembled delegates watched in wonder as the very fabric of space-time around them began to pulse with new possibilities, but with learning to grow alongside it. In that moment, as representatives of 1,000 species stood on humanity's ancient Earth, watching reality itself respond to the harmony of evolved technology and natural growth, they finally understood. Humanity hadn't been hiding their advancements to protect themselves. They'd been protecting the galaxy from repeating their own early mistakes, waiting for the moment when civilization would be ready to advance not through force or speed, but through patience, wisdom,